Can I follow up with you on that? Like, with a platform like Instagram, you're limited by an image. Twitter, you're limited by a number of characters. YouTube seems to be like it's wide open. You can do a 24-hour, 7-day a week data bots YouTube stream.
Sure.
But you could also post up something that's a few seconds long. Are there any challenges that are unique to YouTube, or is it just psychological on YouTube as to how often you can or cannot post on that form?
I would say YouTube has the biggest potential upside of any social media platform, and it's also the most difficult to sort of build an audience on. And the reason why is because you're competing with a lot of people who are really, really, really good, that already have really big audiences, and that's tough. And YouTube sort of rewards people who, my videos get recommended a lot because people watched them, which means more people watch them, which means they get recommended more. So it sort of rewards established people, and that's true of every platform, but I think it's especially true of YouTube. So to me, the most challenging thing about YouTube is that it's probably going to take you, unless you're really good, it's probably going to take you 6 to 9 to 12 months to really get anywhere there. And once you do, it's very valuable. I mean, if I didn't put out a video at all this month, I'd still probably get 500,000 views in the next month. Now that wouldn't last forever, but so I think YouTube in particular, the challenge is like being able to commit the time it takes to build up that kind of first initial bit of traction, because it's hard and it's demoralizing, and you're going to invest a lot of time and energy into something that feels like it's going nowhere.
Yeah, let me take a moment to say hi to everybody watching this on YouTube. Jeff, as far as YouTube, it seems like I totally agree with Finn on that idea that like this is just a really awesome opportunity. To me, it seems like a really great opportunity to also deepen a fan relationship, to try to turn a casual fan into the type of fan who's going to do a VIP package sometime in the future, that sort of thing. Is that true, or am I mistaken? Is there a better place to develop a fan from a casual fan to a super fan than YouTube?
Well, I mean, like Facebook, they offer top fan options, so they're able to identify fans. For me, during a touring cycle, I see the most. This is a broad statement, but I see a lot of conversion when we're doing a co-headline, and we use like geotags and looking through the additional artists through their posts using their tags as well. So that's where I've seen some of my highest conversion for YouTube. For me personally, it's great because there's a lot of covers, drum, bass, guitar covers of artists that I work with, or they're doing press, or like various archival interviews, because I also work with, similar to Rohan, where I work with a lot of artists who have had 20, 30-year careers. So for me, that platform is great because I'm able to engage with people who have uploaded that archival content over the last 20 plus years. So that's great for conversion. But I still, for me, for my demo, Facebook is still, I know the organic reach is much lower, and like 1 out of every 5 posts is basically an ad in your feed. It's still great for me because they were so highly populated when the artists started a decade or so ago. So that was the first network that we built on, other than like MySpace and Friendster and that. So
gotcha. Rohan, can you sort of pick up from there, like when you're working with artists, and there are the platforms that are now getting a little long in the tooth, are there newer platforms that are just exciting and that you think like are the place everybody needs to be and focusing on going into the future?
Honestly, no, not really. I've got the bands themselves are, I find it, I separate them from the band members. Now that's an interesting distinction, because the band may represent something that a fan has an image of, and then the band member can go off and do what it is that they do. So I've got a bunch of guys on Twitch, I think, and I'm going blank because there's too many for us to keep track of here. TikTok. They're loving TikTok right now. That's the traction on that is just completely enormous. The views on that are enormous. The engagement on that is just out of control. And I have a few band members from the bands that have their own name, their own personalities as well, that have now shifted over to that because they get to be funny. They get to be, it's a little short clip. It's maybe a joke, or it's a, day in the life type stuff, which people love. You just cannot get enough of behind the scenes in terms of letting people into kind of what you do for a bit. So for me, that's the one. And I think when a band member themselves has something to say, it's almost at the point, depending on the size of your following, where you do branch off and become your own. You become your own personality, because that's an important thing too. You've got 2, 3, 4, 5 different people in a band. All of them see the world differently. All of them have a different opinion. There may be a management decision to stifle that initially, so that the representation of the band doesn't get derailed in a different direction. That's important for socials. But I think once you get a solid base, that's when you can start to branch off. So yeah, maybe TikTok is probably the one at the moment.
Excellent. Thank you. David, you were nodding and thumbs up and everything as soon as the word TikTok came up. So what should people be doing? I've had this app on my phone for like a month, and I stare at it like I don't get it.
So we relate to the TikTok party, right? Because we're all 29 through 31, and we're like, no, that's dumb, which is the same thing I said when Instagram came out. And it's the same thing I said when Facebook came out and I was on MySpace. And I said the same thing about when MySpace came out when I was on Zanga. And I said the same thing about Zanga from LiveJournal. So I've constantly been late to adapt out of ego, right? And so as soon as I was like, okay, I looked up social metrics on TikTok, and it's like, okay, 41% of all the active users are between the ages of 16 and 24. Looking at this as a 10-year band, right? Meaning most of our fans found us around our third album cycle and then phased out. And then during our fourth album cycle, we had to completely, redo who our fan base was. Now about 60 to 70% of our fans are all new. They found us in the last 4 years. That was a very intentional move, but it took a very long period of time. So wanting to figure out how can we, essentially grab a younger fan base who are going to become lifelong fans. We really want to assign like LTV or lifetime value to those people. So 41% of all active TikTok users are between the ages of 16 to 24. And then on top of that, the average daily usage for TikTok is like between 53 minutes and an hour. So all of the people that are on the platform are on there consistently throughout the day. And the way that their algorithms deliver content is it's not chronologically, which is great. It's all based on user engagement. So you could have something that you posted 3 months ago that all of a sudden goes viral. So it allows you to keep every single post or every piece of content that you put out to be leveraged as an asset, rather than just something that you posted that was relevant for a week or 2 weeks and then the engagement bottomed out like you see on Facebook or Instagram because it gets so buried, or Twitter because it gets so buried in your feed. On TikTok, there's an opportunity at any moment for all of those to just organically go viral depending on what's going on in the marketplace. So it's also really easy to put content out because automatically you're going to see what's going viral that day. And you can be like, oh, like this band member is goofy. I'm going to tell them to do this 20-second skit. And all of a sudden you might get, even if you only have 200 followers, you might get 30,000 likes on it. And all of a sudden there's all new people coming in. We just created our TikTok, the We Came as Romans TikTok, like a week and a half ago. It's not verified yet or anything. We only have like 3,500 followers on it. But And we can't implement the law of large numbers looking at like overall massive social analytics trends. But based off the metrics we're seeing, it is unlike any of the other social stats we see on any other platform. Normally about 60% of our followers or of the followers that are engaged with us are male, 40% female. It's 69% female, 31% male on this platform. I got excited about that because I can look at all of our purchase metrics and see that even though we sell more units in volume as far as merchandise to men, women spend about twice as much per transaction that men do. So if there's an untapped market here for us to build a new fan base with women who, based on these other social metrics, spend twice as much as men do, this could become a major profit center for us. Not to mention, it's the easiest way for us to engage with people. It's built around what's the word I'm looking for? Collaborating with other people. You know, someone can easily take a post and say, oh, I want to do a duet with this. So we actually built an entire social campaign that we're starting to roll out this weekend, built around duets and trying to get people to duet with the band. Also, since it's a new platform, they haven't minimized any delivery. Like there's no paywall for access to your reach right now. That'll probably take place in a year and a half to 2 years, maybe. And then also in the hard rock metalcore market, there are no bands doing it right now. None. It's like us, Crown the Empire just made theirs a few days ago. All Time Low has been on it for about a month, but like Beartooth's not on it. I Prevail's not on it. 3 Days Grace is on it, and they do like a fan share every Friday or something. But it's an untapped market. And I think that there's a massive opportunity for a lot of bands to become the I Prevail of kind of the next wave who really capitalize on that platform like I Prevail did with Facebook.
It's awesome. David, I was counting in my head 7 wormholes that I really wanted to go in, and I got to avoid all of them.
I'm sorry. I'm like a dog chasing the wind. But
each of them is just like, because all I want to do is turn to Rohan, Jeff, and Finn and say, okay, talk to me about this, but I can't because I got to circle back on something Finn said probably like 35 minutes ago. And thank you so much, David, on that summary on TikTok, because now everybody's running.
Absolutely.
Well, Finn, you were saying earlier that just don't bother with Facebook, which surprised me, or something along those lines. Perhaps I'm putting words in your mouth. And it surprised me because it seems like Facebook events is so powerful for marketing live performance. And the Facebook ad engine is so well developed. The AI is so well developed at this point. So can you talk about Facebook events and talk about I guess all of these platforms in terms of advertising and where the great opportunities are for musicians at this point?
Well, I can't really talk about Facebook events because I don't promote any live events. So that's a fair point. That's probably useful. I guess my point is that I hear a lot of rock people kind of obsessing about getting very precious about organic reach on Facebook and, you know, caring a lot about how many likes their band page has, which is just kind of, you're 5 years late on that, you know? I mean, get the likes by all means, that's great, but I would not go out of my way to emphasize that. And by the way, there's no reason that, like, if you have a good piece of content on Instagram, it'll do fine on Facebook too. I mean, there's no reason that you can't repurpose it. As far as ads go, I mean, yeah, Facebook, I've tried so many times to get, I mean, you know, David would have some good input here too, but I tried so many times to get the results on Facebook. And when I say Facebook ads, I'm referring to the Facebook ad platform, which, as some people may or may not know, will distribute your ads into many places. Facebook.com and the Facebook app is one of those places. Instagram, WhatsApp, the ad network, there, you know, I don't know how many placements there are now, like 25 or something like that. So Facebook ads offer the best ROI of anything I've been able to find. I've tried many times to duplicate it because I don't want to be so dependent on one channel, but they're just so damn good at it. I am interested to see where TikTok goes because I know they've been investing a lot in their ad tech, and they seem to be avoiding a lot of the mistakes that other companies made. And the big one being like with Snapchat, they were never able to, well, not never, but they've always struggled to monetize their users adequately. I mean, that's the problem with Snapchat is that for a long time, the value of a user was negative relative to the amount that it cost them to acquire that user. It seems that TikTok, they seem to have a good management team. You know, they just hired the former CEO, or their new CEO was the former head of Disney Plus. So it seems like they are doing a lot of things right, and I'm optimistic about the future of their ad platform, but I don't think it's there yet. So point being, the way I think about Facebook is, or really any of these platforms, like if you want to move product, buy ads. That's what they're for. If you want to create engagement and build an audience and a community and stuff, that's what organic content is for. Not to say that you shouldn't ever promote your stuff, like you should, but it's use the things for what they're meant for. If you want to sell shit, buy ads. If you want to talk to people, make content. I think it's the number one mistake I would say that people in all kinds of business make is they promote stuff too much. Yeah. And nobody wants that. Like, you know, it's like the Punishers that stand out outside of a show and like shove their CD in your face, and it's like, I don't want that. I don't know you. Yeah. Stop trying to sell me something. And that's the same way people feel about their social feeds. So I guess in regards to Facebook, sure, if you get some likes, that's great, use it. But if you are putting a lot of energy into building up a Facebook page in 2020, that's not a smart use of your time, in my opinion.
Gotcha.